All right. First live stream of the week. This is Brent Leary. I like to call this the BBC, not the folks in England. I'm in Stockbridge, Georgia, Brent Broadcasting Channel. But I'm back. I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I just find this fascinating. What's going on with TikTok, and the way that people are able to build really strong following and community of folks who are interested in the things that they make videos of. And it just so happened that a friend of mine, Jeff Brathwaite, has a son who is doing some really interesting things with TikTok. He is, oh my goodness. I want to make sure I say it right. James Brathwaite, but he's also known as Jeb the Boxsmith on
That's correct.
TikTok. That's right. So, James, thank you for joining me. And I'm going to refer to you as Jeb from now on, if that's okay.
I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
All right, man. So this is great. I've been fascinated by what's going on with TikTok, and then when I heard that, when Jeff pointed out to me what you're doing, I was like, oh man, this is really interesting. So before we even jump into TikTok, you call yourself a boxsmith.
I do.
What is a boxsmith?
A boxsmith is a term that I coined that basically means someone who likes to make stuff out of cardboard primarily. Similar to how a blacksmith forges, things out of metal and stuff. A boxsmith forges things out of cardboard boxes.
When did you get started in being a boxsmith?
I started boxsmithing when I was in, I want to say, the seventh grade, middle school. And it basically just started with me, I always liked building stuff growing up. So like Legos, Minecraft, things of that nature. And I found myself wanting to make things a little more substance per se, because Legos are fun, but they can get really expensive, and if you want to make some really big and cool stuff, you're going to need a metric ton of them. So I wanted to find a material that's a little more larger, cheaper, and more economical for making big stuff. So I found a couple of videos on YouTube that had people making cool stuff out of cardboard. I think the first thing I saw was a guy who made a hand extension where it had string that you could put on your fingers, and it was like a cardboard hand that made you move fingers as an extension of your hand. And I thought that was so cool. So I got a cardboard box that we happen to have on hand, a knife, and a hot glue gun, and well, the rest is history. I've been perfecting my art since then, and I've recently brought it to TikTok, so that's cool.
So you said you guys started in that, like seventh, eighth grade. How old are you now?
I'm now 17, so I've been boxsmithing for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Okay. So you just like to build stuff, and then you decided, well, I want to be able to build bigger scale stuff, and I need material that I could actually do that with. And that's how you got into the whole use of boxing, using boxes to create, huh?
Yes.
All right. So how did you get going with, bringing this in front of a video camera? Why did you decide to go that route?
I've always loved I've always loved videos and cinematography, things of that nature. And I've always found myself inspired by makers on YouTube like Colin Fures or Kamui Cosplay, who do this kind of thing where they make awesome stuff and post videos on YouTube and various other platforms. And that kind of style, I always found it attractive. It was never always feasible for me to do, whether scheduling, time, the best way to do so, equipment, things of that nature. And it was only relatively recently, I actually had a school project that had me starting a business that I decided, you know what, I really like this cardboard making stuff. I should give that a try. So I thought about it harder. It had been my third or fourth attempt to try to make videos out of me making stuff out of cardboard, and fourth time's the charm in this case. I initially posted stuff on Instagram, but I only just happened to, on a whim, think to post stuff on TikTok because I heard that, TikTok was, very popular and good for this kind of thing. And I realized that my greatest strength and weakness is that I have ADHD. So by that nature, I have a relatively short attention span for things that I don't find incredibly interesting. And I like every part of boxsmithing and everything except for editing videos for long periods of time. So the beauty with TikTok is that the whole game of TikTok is that it's short form content. So I don't have to spend hours upon hours of editing footage and things like that. So that really helped jumpstart my efficiency and love of boxsmithing and things of that nature.
So you're saying basically getting into TikTok even increased your love of what you originally, was doing with boxes.
Yes.
All right. So how did you get going? How did you get started with TikTok? When did you feel like, okay, I kind of got a handle on what I want to do and how I want to get it out there?
It was a few months ago. Basically, one of the requirements for my school project regarding starting a business is that I had to reach a certain amount of followers on social media. And I tried my luck at Instagram with moderate success. But then, by suggestion of my dad, I decided to branch over to TikTok. I hadn't really used TikTok much at the time, but I decided, why not? So I knew that the game of TikTok was looking for. I knew that the game of TikTok was, you had to hook and deliver something like kind of like a skit very quickly. So I was experimenting with different types of skits in that nature until I finally made a video of me practically slapping together something out of cardboard, and it got like 2,000. It got like 2,000 likes and followers. I was like, oh wow, I might have something here. So, yeah.
And you were able to do that, and you didn't have a big following at the time, so you created this video. And even without a big following, you got 2,000 likes. That's pretty amazing.
Yes.
So, how many videos did it take you to get to that point? Was it like right out of the gate? I mean, it didn't seem like you had to wait too long before you started seeing some real success here.
That's true. And that I just give to God because I see no other logical explanation for how something like that happened. I had posted 2 videos, and then the third one was the one that was most like what I'm famous for now. And that I realized with that third video that I had something there, and I just took off with that.
That's pretty amazing. And to talk about, the interaction that you have with the folks who watch the videos. Was there an immediate connection that you saw with folks just gravitating? I mean, when you get 2,000 likes kind of out of the gate, that's pretty amazing. What kind of folks do you see have gravitated to your videos? Are there people that are pretty much similar like you, or you have a lot of entertainment value in it? It's not just about creating things out of boxes. You do it with a flair. You do it with your own style. How long did it take for you to get your style in addition to the expertise in doing what you're doing with the boxes?
I've always been a very expressive and animated kind of person, so it wasn't too great of an adjustment applying that to my TikTok content. As for the question about the kind of people in my fan circle, it's you see, I use a lot of hashtags, and I think that's what helped me get to. I think that's what helped accelerate me to a level of success a lot quicker because a lot of this stuff that I do, the first video that I did that blew up was me making something from Mortal Kombat. So I know that for me, at least personally, a lot of the cool stuff that inspires me are things from like anime or video games and movies and things of that nature. So I knew I could probably get a lot of like-minded fans who also like movies, TV, and video games like I like. So a lot of the hashtags I include are like anime, or if it's from a particular weapon or game, it's from. Excuse me, I'm getting a spam call. Whoops. Sorry about that. Here, let me put that on silent so that doesn't happen again. Much better. As I was saying, so any video I might put in the name of the game or character where whatever I'm making is from and things like that. I think the most intriguing instance of this happening is that my most popular video was me making this over here, this chain and sickle that was inspired by Ghost Rider. And I was initially asked to make Ghost Rider chains, and on its own, I didn't think that was particularly interesting because Ghost Rider chains are literally just a pair of chains. So I looked at some reference material and realized that Marvel had recently did a crossover with the video game Fortnite, and Ghost Rider was a part of that crossover, and his chains had a much more visually appealing sickle attached to them. So I used that as my reference material. And if you don't know, Fortnite has a very mixed reputation in the video gaming community. Some people love it, other people absolutely hate it. So by using Fortnite as a reference and and tagging Fortnite in my post, I got a lot of controversy. Controversy is probably the right word for it, but that typically has like a negative connotation these days. I got a lot of people from like the Fortnite community saying like, why would you use Fortnite? Hey, there's nothing wrong with them using Fortnite. A whole lot of discourse from there, which has made the algorithm like post my video even further and for more people to see, to the point that last time I checked, that video has like almost 1 million views. We're at like 900,000 today.
Wow.
So I think that was interesting.
When you made that video, you didn't go into it with that, oh, if I do this, I'll get this kind of reaction. You just did it because it was interesting to you and you were looking for ways to make it even more interesting for the video?
Precisely. I could not have predicted that happening, but in a way I'm glad it did, because it helped boost my following considerably. So
Absolutely. So do you feel like you're just turning the camera on and being yourself as you do these things? Or do you feel like as you go on, you start to, add things that you think might create a little more interest that goes beyond what you would have done, just if you were throwing it out there just for yourself?
a lot of my process is throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. So the content I make today is, in my eyes, a very successful rough draft. I intend to keep at this and perfecting until I get better and better at it. So yeah.
Nice. So how long have you been doing your TikTok videos?
I have been doing TikTok videos for, let's see, I posted my first video May the 4th because I was celebrating Star Wars Day. So since May, it's now July, so about 2-ish months, I believe.
All right. That's kind of amazing. I had to ask you that because now I want to ask you, how many followers do you have on TikTok? Since you just started May 4th, was around your first video. It's only about what, 2.5 months later? How many followers do you have on TikTok now?
Approximately. I believe last time I checked, I'm hovering around 60,600 followers.
60,600 followers. And how many videos have you made?
12 total to date.
12? Okay. So we're talking 2.5 months, roughly 12 videos, and you have 60,000 folks and counting. Are you surprised by your success on this?
Absolutely. It's not every day something like that happens to it. So I feel very blessed to have acquired such a following so fast, and I intend to, do great things with it and continue to grow and nurture it. So, yeah.
And tell me, how do you interact with the community? Because I'm assuming, to be able to get that level of followership in such a short amount of time, and really with a relatively small number of videos, there must be a lot of engagement between you and your community. How does that work for you? How do they immediately respond? Do they give you feedback? Do they say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Or is it, hey, we just like watching what you do?
I like to ask my fans to send me suggestions of what they want to see me make next. That's actually how the Ghost Rider chain was made in the first place, because it was suggested by a fan. Same thing with the Blades of Chaos. It's mirrored. Same thing with the Blades of Chaos that you see here. I've got one hanging up. I've got another one that's it's actually behind me on another table. So yeah, a lot of my fans influence a lot of my work. So several things that you see here were actually suggested to be made by my fans. So that's a large part of the community engagement.
And I'm guessing when you have such a big group of fans in such a short amount of time, you not only attract other fans, but you're also attracting attention from folks who would like to build relationships with your fans. Are you starting to look at potential sponsorship and monetizing what you're doing here?
Yes, I do. I can't legally monetize my content on TikTok, even though I meet the other requirements like followers or traffic, because I'm currently a minor and they kind of have terms of service laws against me putting in my parents' name right now. So got to wait a couple more months before I can monetize my TikTok. So I've had to get creative and find other ways to make money. Primarily speaking, I recently reached out to a video game company called Rock, which makes one of my favorite games, Clone Drone: The Danger Zone. And I asked them if they want to do a sponsorship a sponsorship for me to advertise them releasing the full version of their game Clone Drone: The Danger Zone. So that's something I'm working on right now. I've agreed to make. Let me grab this really quickly. It's a work in progress right now, but wow. This is This is the start of a Warhammer that's going to be a Warhammer that's going to replicate. This is the start of a Warhammer that's going to be identical to one from the game Clone Drone: The Danger Zone. So that's what I'm being paid to make here. So that's super fun.
That's awesome. And if I think I saw on your channel, did a guy actually make like a theme song for you on your channel?
A theme song?
I thought I saw a video of this guy. Maybe he's a buddy of yours, but sounded like he was making a song about you, and you were kind of posing on one side of it while he was singing on the other side.
Well, this is news to me. I would love to see this.
All right. Now I definitely have to make sure, because I don't do too many other Boxsmiths, so I know I saw something on there. I'm gonna have to take a look after we do this, and I'll send you a link to your own channel so you can see that. But tell me what your big plans are for the future for expanding on the community, monetization. What's the future for you with this?
The future for me with this, I have several ideas per se. I want to, well, it's kind of a thing I'm excited for and a thing I'm kind of worried for. Part of the reason I've been able to accelerate my success so significantly is because I'm currently out of school because summer vacation. But I start my senior year later this year, so I'm not really sure how. I'm curious how much Boxsmith I can slide in with the rest of my day, being in school again. It absolutely won't decrease to zero, but I want to figure out a way to do both efficiently. So that's the thing. But I intend to make, in addition to my TikTok videos, with the addition of making YouTube videos with my TikTok videos relating to the same thing, most recently like I did with the Blades of Chaos, production is taking a bit longer than it used to, where I used to be able to crank out something every week per se. So I want to make more in-between content for my TikTok, just to, appetizers for the bigger stuff that's, slowly but surely coming. So I've been thinking of different kind of things I could do for that. Like, I experimented with live streams yesterday, trying to live stream me drawing plans for the hammer from me drawing plans for the hammer. That had moderate success. It's only but so interesting you can make drawing stuff on your own per se, but you live and learn. So live streams, I wanted to think of a way where I could make little tips and trick videos where I could show people different wisdom for boxsmithing, like how the most efficient way to cut cardboard, how to make small mini projects more like an actual DIY kind of stuff. A bunch of ideas I have floating around my brain that I would like to, use my age-old method of throwing at the wall and see what sticks. So yeah.
Nice. How long does it usually take for you to do a video?
A video can take anywhere from several days to several weeks, depending on many factors. For instance, forgot I'm muted. This sword, which is modeled after Megatron's sword for Transformers: The Last Knight and the Crucible from Doom Eternal. This took about 2 weeks to make and post, while this one, the Blades of Chaos, while smaller, took closer to around a month because I was still figuring out how to officially make it for a TikTok video and a YouTube video. So it's kind of like a construction project. A lot of the time and effort went into the foundational stuff. Then once all that foundational stuff's done, building up the actual tower takes no time at all. So that's kind of my process.
Now, do you include the making of the whatever you're making at the box as part of the video creation process, or you make it and then you start thinking about how do I make this video work?
I film everything kind of like keyframes or different scenes that you'd see in a the word slipping from me, like the different panels that you see when someone's planning out how they want to make a movie. So I'll cut and Boxsmith the thing, and I think to myself, this will make a good scene. So I grab my camera and film me doing that particular step, and stop that because I'll save editing and battery power later, and then work a little more and say, oh, this will make another good keyframe. Take a video of me doing what I'm doing there, and then continue that process on and so forth. So I essentially record everything I do. Then I just take that large pool of footage. I have something of an outline of a story of my brain of how I want it to all fit together, and then I fit it together like that.
Do you have somebody holding the camera for you, or do you do everything on your own?
In its current state, I am a one-man band, so I have the tripod that I'm using that's being used to look there. You're seeing the tripod that's being used for you to see me right now is the same tripod I use when setting up my projects and everything like that.
So you do all your shooting, your editing, everything is just you.
Yes.
Wow. That's I know that's a lot of time. I know that's a lot of time commitment. Apparently it's working for you. I mean,
it is. I'm working on saving money so I can put off some of that work to other people, so I can boost production time and things like that. But in its current state, I am a one-man show.
Do you like doing that editing, or would you like you said, offloading that and then allowing you to kind of focus all on the creative aspects of this?
If I had the time, if I had the money, I would absolutely offload editing to someone else. I don't dislike it, but it's the process of boxsmithing that I enjoy the least per se. Filming and work with the camera, which sometimes works and doesn't work, and editing, they have their place, but they're not as fun. So when I make the money, I'd absolutely pay for like a cameraman and an editor. It also boosts production significantly, so that's definitely on my agenda for the future.
That's awesome. All right, let me bring in your father. There he is. I know him as Jeff JB Brathwaite, but here you're just dad, man. let me get your take. When did you know that he was serious about doing this thing? This is really amazing that in a span of 2.5 months he's built such a big following, but it seems like it's something that his passion was already there before the camera even turned on.
Yes, I mean, James has always been passionate about his projects. By the way, can you hear me?
Yeah, got you.
Okay. So he's been passionate about projects ever since, like you said, he's been in the middle school. He's loved doing different things. He loves to work with his hands. So he knew there'd be something that'll be available that he could do with his hands, but he just didn't know what it would be. So when he got that project from school, and he had already been doing like glue gun type things where he would put things together, and the costume that you see on the both sides of him are Halloween costumes. Like the one that he did, the robot one that he has there, that was a Halloween costume that he put together and wore it. You know what I'm saying? So that was, people were like, well, how the heck did you make a box for a costume? And so those are the things that he started out doing. He loved to do them, so why not continue and improve on something that you love to do? So that's how it came about. So now he's the Boxsmith.
Nice. I mean, now you have a sister that's kind of been in the showbiz that does video stuff. And I know you helped her do some things on YouTube. How did you help Jeb? I was going to say James, but Jeff, get going from that perspective.
You talking about my sister or his sister? Because his sister is also in the entertainment.
My one actually taught me how to use TikTok in the first place. So a lot of my success I have to dedicate to her. So shout out to my little sis. Thank you.
Oh, that's really cool. How old is she? Like 14 or something like that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
So
all right.
Yeah, because I only made the suggestion, like when I saw his stuff on Instagram, I'm not not the person to do any of this stuff, right? But he, he was somewhat, the following that was on Instagram was okay. But I saw what the kids were doing on Instagram, on TikTok. I said, James, yeah, maybe it might be something that you do. His sister would already mastered TikTok. She was doing her private TikToks.
Wow.
She doesn't do them to post them so everyone can see, but she did little private TikToks for us, like the family. And so she got so good at it. I said, you know what? Why don't you combine with your sister, see what you can come up with, and maybe you could put one of your videos on TikTok, see what happens. And they wound up getting together. My sister, his sister gave him a little tutorial on how to go about doing things. And next thing you know, he's on TikTok. And again, like he said, the rest is history, because it just, you had no idea, and you never know what your audience is going to be. Some people have, you and I are on Twitter. That's our thing, right? But that's old school compared to these youngins, right? So their platform now, they have various platforms, and this TikTok thing is just exploding for the young folk. You know what I'm saying? And it's become so much so that his following and the individuals, they were waiting for him. I mean, they literally, as soon as he posted a couple of these videos, they were wanting more, and he was able to give it to them. So it makes sense in terms of how he's been successful on this particular platform compared to the others.
What's been the reaction of not only you but your wife? I mean, it's got to be kind of interesting, because we hear the stories of on YouTube where kids start a channel and it blows up. But how is it seeing it versus experiencing it with your own kid?
Well, my wife, get this, James is not the only TikToker in the family, as in the whole family. My wife has a family member. She has she's close to 1 million right now with her following. All right. And she gets paid from TikTok. Matter of fact, she got paid so well from TikTok, helped her buy one of her first houses, or the first house. So James is in a state in terms of where he is, but she's been doing it. Her following came from the Black Lives Matter things happened last year. She talks, she's an activist. So her thing became synonymous with what happened with Black Lives Matter. So she blew up that way. That was her following. And James in itself, and my wife, just seeing him, it was like hey, just do what you got to do, man. Dude, make it happen any which way you want. We're in support of you, and any way we can help them, let's do it.
Well, I see your wife is showing her guys are on right now.
Yeah. I sent her the link, so she's on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell me, what are the concerns you may have with this as he builds, he gets a bigger audience, he gets a higher exposure. Mm-hmm. What are the concerns?
Well, I mean, James has been extremely responsible with everything he's done, and he's taken on from day one. So the way I look at it, he's just in his element right now, and so a big step is going to happen come next year when he turns 18, because they're already approaching a lot of creators, TikTok is, and they want to make them a part of their partner program. So who knows what can happen come that process, that when it does, he's already qualified for everything. He's just not 18, right? So he can parlay that into what TikTok has to offer, along with what he's doing sponsorship wise right now. He approached, negotiated, did everything with that sponsor that he currently has, that he's building that Warhammer for. All right, that was all him. So he's already in the element of making this thing a regular part of his life. And so I'm just so I'm so proud, so happy for him in terms of the things that he's done. He's doing something he loves to do, and his audience shows through that they love him.
James, I usually, when it's such at your age, it's like I remember being that age a long time ago, and I was nowhere near as mature as you are. I was nowhere near knowing exactly what I wanted to do. I still don't know what I really want to do, and believe me, I'm a lot older than 17. What does your life look like 5 years from now? Do you see yourself still doing this kind of work on these kind of channels? Do you see taking, going to another level, maybe going for an actual TV show of some sort? What do you want to do with this? What does 5 years from now look like for you?
5 years from now, of course, I want to like graduate college and everything like that, but I still intend to keep up boxsmithing and everything of that nature with it. And I want to keep on honing my skills to the point where I can do increasingly more interesting and crazy things, like, go from building simple weapons to building weapons that have actual, like gear mechanisms in them, but still made out of cardboard. Bigger, more mind-blowing kind of stuff. So that all just comes with practice and experimentation and time. So I want to get into doing things like that. TV show. I would absolutely be open to doing something like that. That does sound like a cool thing. My other interests do include things like writing and production. So I would absolutely consider something like that. That sounds like a cool idea. And yeah.
Dad, what do you want for him in 5 years?
Well, I mean, we definitely want him to do the college thing. I mean, that's part of the plan. And if he can continue to do what he's doing now, and parlay that into something even bigger, hey, we're all for it. We're just as pleased as punch in terms of where he is, and we look forward to all the many things that he's going to do in the future. We're just here to root him on and support. And he's just been an amazing young man. To be in this position. So hey, and he keeps his head on straight. I'm good.
Nice. And Jeb, I slipped up and said James, but you're Jeb here. So what advice can you give somebody who is curious, wants to get started with TikTok? What kind of advice can you give them? I don't think anybody's going to be able to replicate the success that you have, but what are some of the things that they could do to get started, to get off to at least a good start?
The biggest obstacle for me, not even just starting, but just like remaining consistent with boxsmithing, is I'm always in my head and worries and concern and all that kind of all sorts of hypotheticals. I call it planning ahead, or like seeing all sorts of possibilities, but really that's just BS. It's just my brain too scared to actually want to do things, because like at the end of the day, the stakes aren't as dramatically high as your brain's making them. So just start, throw things at the wall and see what sticks. If it works, splendid. If not, well, try something else. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's already given advice. I mean, he has a lot of his following, a lot of his fandom, right? They've been on there for a good while, and they haven't had the success that he's had. So he's a lot of his fans have reached out to him and say, can we do something together? Can we, what I'm saying? Can you give me some pointers on some of the things that they've done? They're amazed at his success, and they want to somehow, be a part of it. So I'm just extremely pleased with where he is and what he's doing. And again, he's such a responsible kid, and we love it that he's taking this on, and he's willing to help. He's always been a helper. He wants to be able to reach out and do what he's doing. But if someone asks him a question, he's sure to answer it. He's sure to do whatever he can to assist. So he's been great.
And what I could tell is he appears to me to be the same guy off camera, so to speak, as he is on camera, which is really cool. I mean, it's a pleasure to have this conversation after watching the videos and realizing he's the same dude. I mean, he's not acting; he's just being himself, which is really good to see. And
the video that you mentioned was not James. He's talking about the duet that you did with the young man that you just talked about. All the different things that you were, your age, your height, all those things.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's there's a misunderstanding there. That was me being inspired by something that another guy made. Carson S. Carson Smelliot, I think his handle is. That was a song that he remixed, and I thought that was cool. So, and filler kind of before my next big thing, I decided to put my own spin on that. So that's what you saw there.
Right.
Okay, that was cool, and you really did put your own spin on it because it was you, but you were doing you in the context of whatever that thing was, that song was. But I just thought it was cool.
Right.
Thanks again for this whole conversation. This has been great. Jeb, the Boxsmith, JB, the Boxsmith's father. Thank you both for spending some time with me. And once again, folks, thank you for checking it out. I'll be back later this week. I never go away, but I'm going away right now. See you guys later.